Phil Foden with 2 goals, given player of the match here in the stadium. But City had to fight for it. We went in 2-0 at half-time. Leeds came out. City seemed to drop off. It was 2-2. And then Phil Foden, right on the cusp of 90 minutes, just going into added time, puts the ball in the back of the net. And let's see celebrations from our City fans in Seoul, in South Korea. Nat's been there with Fabian Delph and Naden.
The official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.
As Alistair Mann said, none of us could have predicted that result at half-time. What did you make of that second half? And was it how good Leeds were or how bad City were?
I probably need a little bit more time to really figure that out. But I have to say that I did not see this second half performance in terms of. I thought it was a game of really brilliant in possession. It was good stuff in possession. But out of possession, we were really good. Second half, I think Leeds were the ones that were winning, getting the lucky bounces, winning the second balls. They made it a period where it was a physical game, which meant the anxiety got into us once they scored. Our fans got a little bit anxious. The players probably felt it because it was so important for us to get the result. I just couldn't see the game panning out the way it did in terms of us not finding the momentum. They say goals change games. Well, Leeds' goal certainly did because they got a momentum. We didn't knock the ball about as smoothly as we did in possession. They seemed to get into it a little bit more. Calvert-Lewin comes on and he ruffles a bit of feathers. But Foden, I mean, he does well because we're in the studio. We're just going mental because he scored this goal, but could not predict it because I thought we'd go on to score third and a fourth, and whether or not we would keep the clean sheet.
It's slightly concerning for Manchester City fans, though, and I know we've got the win, but it does feel like there's been moments in this season where we get ahead or we have these run of quick few games and then suddenly drop off. It felt that happened again. Now, is it energy? Is it maybe, I don't know, them not coming out and giving the same as they did in the first half? Or was there a tactical change? It's just hard to put your finger on it because I've seen it happen a couple of times this season.
Yeah, it's a brilliant question, but I think that's a question that Pep even wants to know the answer to.
Great, yeah.
Because I think he'll be looking and thinking, yep, good stuff first half. We'll give him information on how to kick on and how to maintain that. But for some reason, we didn't. And they'll look back at the game and look back at the clips and they go, right, where's that momentum shift? Yes, Leeds score. There's an error made and Leeds score, but the momentum changes. And us not being able to go right because you're seeing keeper go down and Pep change tacticals, all this sort of stuff happening. And I think he wants to put his finger on it and figure that out because we don't want to be going into the next game and 2 or 3 games later and having these issues.
Absolutely not. Right. Let's get the thoughts of our show over in Seoul, South Korea. It's been Match Day Live on tour. I'm sure they're buzzing over there. Seoul, South Korea. Come on, City! Come on!
Thank you so much, Kel. Thank you so much to Shaun Goater. And thank you to everybody here in Seoul! Oh my goodness, we have just had the most beautiful rendition. It's like a choir here. A word for word, perfect English of Wonderwall by Oasis. And it's magical. And it's about as magical as Phil Foden, who basically has just saved Manchester City. I am... just sung to the world like a perfect choir. Thank you so much for that. So Manchester City have won the game 3-2 after what was an incredibly nervy and difficult second half. I mean, football cliches, there's millions of them we could say right now, a game of 2 halves, but I just want to focus first of all on Phil Foden. Naden, that man, he has just saved us.
Oh, absolutely he has. What a star. Phil Foden's the boy, isn't he? He's the star boy. There's never really any doubt once he puts himself in the right position, and as you said, it was somewhat of a nervous second half, but when you've got the star power, like with Phil Foden, for example, you can always do that, and to be fair, shout out to Josko Vardy for jumping up before Phil Foden had the strike.
He must have instinctively known when he saw Phil running towards him. He jumped so high and so quickly, like, I feel like he needs an assist.
I don't know. What do you reckon, Fabian?
No, it was unbelievable, very instinctive. But we did say at half-time, Phil Foden is a unique player, and he stepped up massively today. He was the bright spark. The positive part of the game was watching Phil Foden display what he can do. The rest of it, you know, we could pick it apart, we could critique it, but we'd be here all night.
Yes, and it is 2:05 in the morning here in Seoul currently as well. So we won't do it all night, but let's touch on it quickly though, because Leeds came out in the second half and immediately made the difference. Calvert-Lewin came on as a substitute, scored. He then was involved in the penalty as well. Leeds really came back and fought hard in that second half.
Yeah, we said that the only way that Leeds would have an opportunity to break the hearts of those guys here was by the sloppy mistakes, the sloppy passing, maybe on the counter-attack. But for me, a lot of the stuff that happened today was childish. It lacked somebody to be a commander in there. There didn't seem to be very much communication, which is like it's just an absolute non-negotiable. But I was disappointed. I just expect a little bit more. The standards have been set at that club at a very, very high standard. They weren't met today. Luckily, we've got players like Phil that can step up. We've got Haaland who does it week in, week out. He was isolated today, so it was difficult for him. But we talked about rhythm. We talked about pace of the pass, winning our individual battles, and the game being won and lost in the centre of the pitch, and it just wasn't. Leeds came out and they was better. I've nearly finished, I promise.
I'm loving it. You keep going.
Leeds came out and they was better. They was very compact, but they just had like a presence about them, like almost like a lack of respect that, okay, these players that have achieved a lot and done what you do, but we're going to stick it on you here. And we didn't react. We didn't fight back.
Yeah, it was almost like they went in at half-time, realised, you know, that they'd just been completely overrun and had nothing to lose and came out with a real bit of fight in their stomach. But, I mean, Fabian made so many good points there, Nadim, particularly around the schoolboy errors at the back. I mean, I'm sure Mateus Nunes and Josko Vardy will not want to be looking back at the two goals.
Yeah, firstly, I think it was a penalty. And I think for the first goal as well, City had multiple chances to be able to get the ball into a better position. But I think they were quite sloppy for that first 10 minutes in the second half. So, unfortunately, for the way the Premier League is, like, Leeds are a very good side. They're a Premier League side, and if you make mistakes and give people opportunities, then they'll take them. But again, it's good credit to Leeds. I think the changing formation for the second half put City under a lot of pressure. And City could never really react to it, which is a shame in some ways, but a 3-2 win is a 3-2 win.
Yeah, absolutely. Calvert-Lewin coming on seemed to throw us at the start of that second half, and we didn't quite get to grips for a bit. But to give City some props there for the second half, they continued fighting. Pep made a few changes, and of course, Phil Foden continued playing and believing and taking the opportunities. Fight till the end is what we always say.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, we can talk about the negatives, but the positives are they found a way to win a game of football. You know, there were times where their backs were against the wall. They were great first half, second half not so much. But they have the style power. They insisted on keeping going. And then also, to give them credit, after they scored to make it 3-2, I think the defensive stand was pretty good overall. It's just a shame that some of the best football came only in added time.
Thank goodness that good football came in that added time there. It would have been 3 games without a win for City, but as it is, we win. We keep the pressure on Arsenal, which obviously is so important.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'm sure Fabian agrees. Somebody how many points did you get? Was it 100? Yeah, 100 points, yeah. I think momentum is quite a significant thing, so yeah, it's good for them to stop that rot. And pardon?
Next season.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Yes.
Second season, the formidable season.
When we won all 4.
How many points were that?
Oh, God, that's a good question. 90. I want to say 98. Might have been so high up there, yeah.
Fair enough. Sorry, excuse me. My bad.
Well, indeed, the momentum is continuing because we play again on Tuesday, and then, of course, next week we are in that period of football coming up to Christmas where it is just absolutely non-stop. It is 2:10 in the morning here in Seoul. We have had the most incredible few days with our fans out here. This city is absolutely stunning. We've been really warmly welcomed by absolutely everybody. It's been a real pleasure. You are all so wonderful. We thought the world deserved to hear our beautiful Korean choir singing Wonderwall again. Nathan, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much, Fabian, today. We've so enjoyed your company. A big thank you to everybody for watching Around the World on Matchday Live. We're going to go back to Manchester in a minute, but before we do, let's have another rendition of Wonderwall from our wonderful fans here in South Korea.
Finish in South Korea. To all of our Manchester City fans there, thank you for making our first Matchday Live on tour show so special. And of course, it goes without saying, a massive thank you to Nat for guiding us through, and to our very special guests over there, club legends Neda Manua and Fabian Delph. Shaun, just before we do a little look ahead, there was a point there that Fabian Delph made that I felt has been prevalent in the last few City games. And I know Andy Morrison has mentioned this. When maybe it feels there's been an energy shift and you can feel them growing into it, I think back to the likes of Kompany, Zabaleta, Fernandinho, Rodri when he's on the pitch. They're almost, they grab the game by the scruff of the neck and they assert, whether it's even just let's sit in for 10 minutes or just a bit of in-game. Did we miss that a little bit today? And is that something maybe we need to try and find again when we find ourselves in those moments?
Well, I think, and I think we all know we do have that in Diaz, but if you're perhaps under pressure a little bit more, it's hard for him probably to engage in that way. It's the times when it can happen is when you're actually in possession. So it's like if we're attacking, he can be then giving instructions and making sure, yes, we're in position while we're in possession, but then giving that information like, listen, come on, we need to sort ourselves out whilst we still have the ball. But whilst you're defending and the game is going on, all I can say to you is, yes, Cal, win that ball, you know, because you're actually in the moment. But it seemed as though we didn't need that. And when I look at our skipper, he does that. But for some reason, it seemed as though we missed it because they got a grip and they got a bit of momentum. And that will be the concern from Pep's point of view. Yes, we will score goals. Yes, we will create chances. But we'll come up against teams that will have momentum, and it's how we steady that to walk away with playing against top teams and walk away with a 1-0 or 2-0, keeping clean sheets and stopping those opportunities for the opposition.
But as we mentioned there, we're Manchester City. We fight till the end. We did just that. And one of our own, Phil Foden, ensures Manchester City get the 3 points. Keep that pressure on Arsenal as well, who we know have got a little bit of a gap. But they do play Chelsea tomorrow. And as we know now, games are thick and fast. Turning our attention to Fulham, Shaun, we're away from home. You'd like to think, though, maybe a couple changes, try and pick up another 3 points there and build that momentum that Nathan was talking about.
Yes, it's important that we build that momentum. And I think the interesting thing is we've had players that played the other day that didn't actually or haven't been playing consistent. And for years, we've had players come in and perform well. And I think this will be, you know, Pep will be seriously thinking, I want to refresh and bring players in. I don't know if he'll bring as many changes as we've seen in recent games. I think it could be 2 or 3, not 6 or 7.
Or 10.
Exactly. And I think he'll look back at that and think, because I'm looking at Erling Haaland today, and my thinking was he will get chances. But there was a part in the game I'm looking and thinking, he don't look as fresh. You know, he goes, he shuts the goalkeeper down, and he's coming back out, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, he don't just look as fresh, and that's because we know we need him. You know, but Pep will be thinking, the performance team will be thinking, we in order to keep him fresh, is playing him games and saying, right, thank you, you scored your goals, the game's won, come here, you know, 70 minutes, 75 minutes, well done. But I'm looking today, he's had to play the whole game, and and I'm looking, thinking...
100 minutes as well, yeah.
Exactly. So where do we get to rest and keep him fresh?
Yeah.
And I think the rest period is vital, important, certainly for him in looking at a bit of his game today.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll have the rest and he'll be fresh and ready.
And I guess there is another thing to say, and this is for the Fulham game, but actually for all these games now that are coming, our way over the Christmas period. We've got Fulham, Sunderland.
Yeah.
I think there's, then we've got another Champions League game. I think it's Brighton as well. I think, and maybe the League Cup. It's thick and fast. Is there a little worry that teams will be looking at that second half performance, or they look at Leverkusen, where they scored 2 goals at the Etihad Stadium? Leeds were 2-0 down, get 2 goals. So teams might take a bit of confidence to come at us a bit more. So maybe we have to expect that from our opponents now.
Yeah, and this is why fresh legs are going to be important. So perhaps going to have to fight against this whole thing of, right, perhaps this is the player or players I've played consistently. I've got to bring in fresh players to make sure we're fresh enough, because, again, teams will be looking at clips and looking at our game and going, right, this is how City's played. We need to perhaps be a bit like how Leeds were in the second half, get amongst it, make the game tense, because there was a period where the game became tense, but that played into Leeds' favour.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this doesn't feel like City, because normally we'd have it, we'd keep it, we'd move it around one side, we'd come back around the other. We'd have it 2 or 3 passes, and then it was a tackle, and then they were winning. They were getting those lucky little ricochets,
yeah,
and coming away with it. So teams would be looking at this and thinking, how can they make, Fulham be thinking, how can they make the game, a period, be a bit like what this was? And again, they have a tight ground as well.
Well, we'll be with you for that game on the build-up to Fulham. Then I'll be next with you for Sunderland next weekend, which is next Saturday, 3 p.m. And I'm excited to say Matchday Live is going on tour again. We're going to be coming a few places around the world. Where? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to find out. I can't reveal those secrets yet, but we might be coming to your country soon. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for updates. Now, just before we finish, Shaun, I want to say a name that I'd not heard for a while until I was prepping today's show. Nicholas Jensen. Yes. Cast your mind back to 2003. It was a 2-1 win against Leeds, and this cracker was scored, which I think long lives in many Manchester City fans' heads. It is that beautiful strike. I think, can we show it? Have we got it to show? I'm not too sure. No, maybe we haven't. We don't have it to show. But there was the beautiful goal over on the left-hand side. You scored the second goal in that game. But what can you tell us?
No VAR that game. That's what I would say.
What can you tell us about that player, Nicholas Jensen?
Nicholas Jensen actually was way better than. This is where we started to bring in quality players, and Nicholas Jensen was, for me, he was really good as a left back in terms of keeping the ball. He could find you. He had quality passing. One of the things that really stood out about him is he very rarely gave the ball away. We'll play runders, 5v2, it's a number in the middle. And I don't think for the whole season the ball went in the middle. So you'd normally go in if you lost it. And I just kept going back home after training thinking, he's not lost the ball. He doesn't lose the ball. But this is where we kicked into a quality. I mean, well,
that's just a joke.
I mean, if that goes even scored today, we're absolutely delighted. But he was really calm. He wasn't sort of a player that made a lot of noise, very calm individual, but had really good quality, really good quality. You give him the ball, you knew he would not lose it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That counts for a lot, doesn't it, when you in any team, really?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I believe he's an agent today.
Is he really? Yeah.
I believe he's an agent. Now, in fact, we stayed on the same cul-de-sac. We stayed in the same cul-de-sac, but yeah, he was really decent, really tidy player. Yeah, loved his quality foot, because I knew if he got it, he had the quality to find me, but I also knew that he could find midfielders, and then I can also make my runs off of that, but really good player.
Well, listen, we're going to finish the show, Tim, talking about that goal. It really, I think that's one that long lives in all Manchester City fans' memories. Thank you for joining us. We've come out on top today, 3 points secured. Massive thank you again to all our fans in Seoul, to Nat, to Fabian, to Nadem, to Shaun Goater, and of course to you, our Manchester City fans around the world. It's finished Manchester City 3, Leeds 2, and here's Nicholas Jensen talking about that iconic goal. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night.
He was quite quiet. an unassuming player, a player who played maybe, 50-odd times for the club.
He always had that kind of cheeky little grin on his face.
When you see Nicholas Jensen, you ask him about the goal against Leeds.
I didn't score that many goals as a defender, so being lucky to score one of those goals.
To produce that on a game day, in an important game like that, when you can see the ball and how he catches it just on the outside of his left foot, and how it bends, goalkeeper's got absolutely no chance.
You don't think that much. I mean, of course, my right foot was very, very bad. I had all the skill in my left foot, so just for some reason, when I saw the ball, I didn't really think. I just gave it a shot, and yeah, luckily for me, it went in.
You see sometimes a goal that's scored, and you say to yourself, 99 times out of 100, that goes very badly wrong for the player who connects with the ball. But everything was right about it.
It's Nicholas Anelka, who's taking on Danny Mills. Still Anelka. Floating over to the far side. Jensen! What a strike! Wow! What is it about players who hit the ball with their left foot? Just seems to fizz away.
And it doesn't just go in, it goes in right into the side of the net. It's the sweetest strike. It's kind of Gareth Bale-esque, you know, if Bale scores one like that, then everybody talks quite rightly about what a player he is.
You're thinking, oh, he could take a touch here, but because he had such good technique, it didn't surprise you that he took it on.
You don't get speechless at times like that. You don't. You get taken away with the crowd, and if you look at some of the crowd reactions, there's kind of as much shock as elation. What a goal to commentate on. You know, one of those when you say to yourself, I won't forget that I commentated on that. And I don't.
The unbeatable official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.
Got a question? Send us an email at podcast@mancity.com.